Welcome all. So today's topic is the jinns part 1. Now we'll be making part 2, part 3, depending on how much information can be given on jinns and the kind of questions you asked about jinns, the entity. So I thought let's start from the very basic in part 1. Now I'll be discussing on a very starting level about jinns. Now I have also written in my book, my first book, Corporate Chick Turns into a Spiritual Healer, you have stories and cases which have been solved regarding the jinns by me and the team. So people who have read the book, they will of course understand that what this video is all about more easily, because they've already known about jinns. But people who are new and very curious that what exactly jinns are. So I would start by saying the first line about jinns that I would like to start by saying is that jinns are made of fire. Now, how much fire? I mean, I can simply say that the kind of heat and the kind of fire, 100 suns, if you put 100 suns, I mean, it's unimaginable, but actually if you put 100 suns together and the heat which gets generated with that energy of 100 suns is the energy and is the kind of fire, the aggressive and the massive fire and the heat that the jinns are made up of. Yes, it is true. Jinns are made of fire. You call them actually to be fire entities. Now, you may call them fire beings, fire entities, or you can just give them any name, but it's all about fire, the heat. Okay, and that is the reason when somebody is possessed by a jinn, or even if a jinn is not even possessed but standing very near to a person, and a special name has been given that you have to, this is to the jinn, that this is the target, this person is your target. Slowly and steadily the person's skin color starts changing to the blackish tone because of the heat, excess heat. Okay, like I said, if you stand too much near the sun, that is the reason that you start getting towards the darker side. The sun tan. So basically you can think that in easy layman's language, you will start getting that tan on yourself because of the heat that a jinn is made up of. Okay, that's a very important thing about jinn, that and the basic thing of a jinn to understand, that they are fire entities, okay, made up of fire, and not just one or two kinds of fire. It's like the aggression of 100 suns. You can imagine how massive it must be. So anyways, let's go on further. Now there are good jinns and there are bad jinns. When I say good jinns, I mean who don't do any evil to humans. And there are bad jinns, evil jinns, who are there to, who actually enjoy troubling the human race. And they have excess power in them. Of course, both the jinns have excess power in them. The good ones in a good way and the bad ones in the bad way. They live like human beings. It's like they are on earth, they're living like human beings. Different kinds of jinns are there. It's not that it's only one kind of a jinn. There's several kinds of jinns, but right now it's very difficult to say that name all the jinns in the categories. But then the basic ones are, to start with, they can adapt any body. Few of them, one category, not few, one category is that they can actually live like a normal human being with you without knowing that it is a jinn. They will just behave in a very normal human lifestyle. They will live a normal human lifestyle. They would sit with you, they would eat with you, and you would not be able to understand that this is a human or this is a jinn. Only if you see any extra activity by fault, that suddenly you see that somebody has raised up a hand to switch off the light and the hand has just gone beyond the normal stretching limit, then of course that is the time it's disclosed it's a jinn, if it's a jinn, because they're very careful to hide their identification. But sometimes, like I said, the mistake happens, and this was the way the people were able to find out this is, we are living with a jinn, or this person standing next to us is a jinn. Okay, so one aspect is this, that like I said, they can stay with you like humans. Now another form of jinn is that they can even fly. There are flying jinns also, because in black magic there are several kinds of processes of black magic and different kinds of jinn which are there to focus on which target area of your life. Now the flying ones are the ones which have the tendency to fly and monitor you and see you from a distance. So you're finding a jinn out here on the normal, area, that okay, fine, where is the jinn, or if somebody's trying to find her, but actually the jinn is out there, up. So the diameter of finding the jinn goes towards the upper side. Okay, so the flying jinns, and these are very normal categories that I'm telling you. Now another category is of the paranormal section of the jinns is they can change, they can actually take the body of an animal. They can transform themselves into a body of an animal. Most of you must have heard about this. The dogs, snakes, the reptiles, the dogs, the cats, and several other animals, but these are the most famous ones, that they can actually transform themselves into. So if you see a very aggressive dog, or you must have heard sometimes that in a very unnatural manner a dog killed a human, or through tantra, a person was killed, and when the doctors diagnosed, they said that this was actually was not identified. So your animals, your snakes, sometimes just snakes are the ones who are not actually snakes, they're actually jinns in the form of snakes, which may be sent to you, just bite them and come back, kill them. And normally people will think that it was just a snake, an animal, but that's not true. Okay, so these are the few major categories. Now the question arises, a lot of you have asked me that where do these jinns stay? What are the places that you can find jinns? Now see, jinns, the evil ones, like I said, they like dirty places. They like places, and this is something I mentioned again in my the book that I was talking about, that the jinns, they like this foul smell. So if the one category of the jinn, which if you really want to find out that whether the jinn has arrived, you will actually be able to identify a very foul smell, like you get in the toilets, so that this is the sign that the jinn has entered, because they love staying in the toilets, in the dirty places, in the empty places. Graveyards, of course, that's one place that the supernatural entities love staying. So empty houses, or the broken, or even the broken places where you may say that it's like half constructed plots, and then they're left just like that for the construction purposes to happen later. And when it's all empty, nobody's staying there, these are the kind of places that the jinns love to stay, and they make their staying area there. Now there are also jinns who love to stay with people who don't take bath on a regular basis, people who don't change their clothes. They just keep on wearing one cloth for several days. There are some people, many human beings, who will find that they don't like taking bath. Their houses are very very dirty, and the cleanliness doesn't take place. So these are the kind of places, and these are the kind of people that jinns love to stay with automatically. It's designed like this. Now, like I said, the jinns stay on earth, and they live like human beings. So they marry. They have a provision of marrying each other. They live a normal life. They get physical with each other. Some jinns also have a tendency to get physical with the human race also. Now I'll be talking about this in detail in my next video about the jinn. But right now I'm just giving the basics of the jinns, so that it's easy for me also to carry on another video in more deeper explanation to what I have just mentioning the bullet points today. So like I said, if you have a dog, if you have a pet dog or even a street dog, if you see, and all of a sudden they just start crying in the night, or they start barking seeing somebody, and they just keep on staring at that one particular wall, please understand there has to be a jinn or any other certain entity which is supernatural, because dogs can see jinns. And again, I'm saying all of this I've already specified in the 3 books that I've written in different ways and different stories. Okay, so you can check the books also for more details if you want. So that's actually about the basis about the jinns. Now, what they can do to a human being and how the jinns are used in tantra or in black magic in an evil method, all this we will be talking about in a different part 1, part 2. Like part 1 is all about the basics of the jinn that I mentioned today, and the next week I'll be talking about more detail about the jinns, all the points that I've just mentioned out here. Okay, so there'll be part 1, 2, 3. I think we should be able to finish the jinn parts in 3 parts or 3 series, I would say. Okay, and that's about it. And I think jinn is a very important topic that most of you wanted to find out, because in black magic jinns are used majorly, and people are getting affected by this entity in black magic a lot. So we have started the jinns information now. So stay tuned for 2 weeks more about the jinn series, or the jinn part 1 and part 2. Okay, and remember, they are fire entities to start with. This is the basic about the jinn. Okay, so that's about it. I'll see you next week with part 2 of the jinns category. Okay, till then, thank you very much. Goodbye.